How are you? It's Ben from EQL Networks and Security. And today we're going to be looking at the latest G2 series HikVision Acusense IP camera. The part number is too long to remember, so it's going to be listed here. This is a 4 megapixel IP camera equipped with dark fighter technology and has the latest AI for detecting people or vehicles. The benefits of the latest AI is that it's supposedly more accurate, so you'll only be notified when it only picks up vehicles or people. So let's take a look at the camera. The camera is all metal apart from this plastic shroud and has a built-in flashing light and an IR LED and a waterproof speaker. You know, the great thing about this camera is that since the speaker is now waterproof, you're able to place it outside where it belongs, in its element. You know, when a person, or as HikVision like to call it, a human is detected, we can play an audio file and flash the strobe of the camera to let any unauthorized person know they're being watched. You can even, via the app, communicate back to the person and let them know how you feel. You know, maybe you tell them how much you love them, or possibly you just tell them to move on. It's your choice. It's also equipped with a micro SD card slot, so you can record directly to the camera itself instead of an NVR. So what we're going to do is we're going to test this camera indoors. It gets the color chart, take it outside and see what type of footage we get in day and night. Then we're going to see how the latest Acusense AI works with its flashing light and speaker goes. So enough of this talking, let's go set this camera up and see what it's like. So here we've got our color chart. So the color chart allows us to basically compare the colors that the camera is producing to a real world chart. It also allows us to see in the corners here what text may be. This particular camera is now set up about 1.5 meters away, just to give us an indication of how far away it is. So what we'll do now is we'll zoom into all 4 corners. Once we zoom into all 4 corners, you'll see that you can't see the color, you can make out the color checker, should I say, and the X-Rite text. It's not super clear, but it is legible, so you can see and make it out. If you look at the bottom right-hand corner, as far as the measurement and rule is concerned, there's no clear definition between those lines and to what we can see. Next, we'll put this into black and white mode. So this is overall view, and then what we'll do is we'll zoom into all the 4 corners. At this point here, you can't actually see any of the text. It's not legible. We've got no idea what it's saying. Measurement ruler is a complete washout as well. But let's just see how this really compares in the real world. See, here we are. Here's our daytime shot. I'm actually walking probably about 15 meters away, and if we freeze it here, you can make out facial features. We can see, you know, colors and so forth of what's happening. The picture itself is quite sharp and quite crisp. As we keep on walking through. The next part of the video, I'll actually walk about 4 meters up to the camera. This will give us an indication as to what it was like a bit up closer. So if you freeze it here, you can make out facial features. You can see lettering on the shirt. Now it's a pretty good picture. Then what we'll do is we'll zoom in at, we'll zoom in here. So you can see if we freeze it, you can actually see numbers, you can see the lettering, it's clearly legible. You can even make out model and make of the car itself as well. It's not super clear compared to, say, other cameras, like when you get into a higher resolution, but it's definitely clearly visible. Just out of curiosity, we'll zoom in onto the left here. Yep, we can still clearly see the letters, still legible. We can make out what the numbers are. So what we'll do is we'll move into the nighttime scene. So as I'm walking along here, we'll freeze it there. Cannot see anything. It's a bit of a wash. Can't make out any lettering on the car whatsoever. Picture itself is still quite clean and crisp, but with the IR on at the moment, we cannot see anything. So I'll just make note that this camera is straight out of the box. No changes, no modifications have been made to any of the settings whatsoever. So in the next part, we'll walk up close, and once again, we'll freeze it here. Clearly washed out. Cannot make out anything. It's just purely overexposed. And let's keep on going. So we'll zoom in here on the car. Can't see anything, it's just a pure washout. Really the picture is overexposed where the IR is shining. So what we'll do now is we'll go into the settings. We'll just go into image configuration. What we're looking for is an IR, so image exposure, day-night. So day-night settings, here we go, smart supplement light. So out of the box it's set to off. we actually need to set this to on, and this will allow the light and intensity of the light to change as the object appears and disappears from the shot. So as you can see now with it on, it produces a much clearer picture. Things are not overly exposed. Even at this point here, we can see and make some more numbering and lettering on the car, especially where the badging is of the car. If we freeze it there, we can't see, at this point, you can't make any facial features out apart from knowing that someone is there and walking around. So in this next one, we'll walk up to the camera, and you'll see as I approach the camera, you can see the intensity just drop and change. It's really impressive that it does do that, and it knows the closer you get to adjust that light. So when we freeze it, you actually can see that it's clearly facial features are identifiable now, and also, you know, it's just a lot cleaner picture with that setting set on. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to set up the intrusion detection. What this is going to do is when someone enters within those boundaries, we're going to have a flashing light and an audible sound that goes off. So what we'll do is we'll just draw the area. So our intrusion detection, we've set enabled. Just draw a box or a pyramid here. So as soon as we go in there, and this here will detect humans and vehicles. We'll save this. If we go into this arming schedule, you can set it for what days and what times you want it to be, and then we'll just make sure we've got the so notify surveillance center means it's going through to your app, give you a push notification, and we're just going to set this to flashing alarm and audible warning. So when we go into event here, basic event, you can see up here we've got flashing light. We can set the duration to however long we want. We can set the frequency to how fast it goes, and here we can play different types of sounds. So in this case we'll go a warning, and we will play attention. This is under surveillance, so just test it here.
Attention please, the area is under surveillance.
So we'll just set this back down to 2, and we'll save this, because it'll keep going if we set it at that 5 times. What we'll do is we'll go back to live view, and what we'll do now is we'll go for a little bit of a walk test.
Attention please, the area is under surveillance. Attention please, the area is under surveillance. Attention please, the area is under surveillance. Attention please, the area is under surveillance.
You can see the AI has improved over previous version. It does a great job of detecting humans and vehicles. It's not perfect, but it's definitely much more accurate. The ability to play a pre-recorded message and that bright strobe light LED will get someone's attention. Look, the speaker itself, it's not super loud, but it does a good enough job considering its size. At night, especially when noise levels are normally quieter, the person will be able to hear that message. You know, one thing to note is that you'll need to enable the smart IR, which we found actually improved the picture quality, and it managed to not overexpose certain objects. The picture quality was very good at night and managed to stay in color longer as evening approaches. But with a 4 megapixel camera, it allowed it to have the best of both worlds in capturing day and night footage. One thing that would be nice is the ability to select and schedule the strobe light individually. So in daytime, only use the speaker alarm, and at night use both. Even though you can communicate via voice, it would be nice if you could trigger the strobe light individually, which is what you'd want sometimes. Overall, this camera's ability to capture nighttime images and to be able to play a message and flash that strobe light when a person or vehicle is detected will definitely help deter people off your property. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. And remember, if you like what you saw, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel so you get notified of our latest videos. Put in the comments section if you have any other questions or anything else you want us to test. At EQL, we're always here to help and support your business.